roadmap to learn artificial intelligence. So this word has come up nowadays a lot. Many people who are meeting me at work or at business events, they ask me, what is this artificial intelligence? How to learn this artificial intelligence? How to start our journey in artificial intelligence? What actually is artificial intelligence? So, to the people who are not from this industry and who it's artificial intelligence is a very big word that has is being used a lot of places, and it is misrepresented. For us data professionals, the most simple definition of artificial intelligence is learning from historical data, building a model, be it any data, be it any model, but that is the basic concept of a artificial intelligence. Is from the historical data that you have, you learn from that particular historical data and you build a model, and for any new questions or for any new scenarios that are coming in as of today, you are going to score that model and get a answer. For example, chat gpt people are using a lot nowadays. What is chat gpt doing? You are asking chat gpt a question: which is the best Italian restaurant in Dubai? So this is your prompt that you're giving chat gpt. Chat gpt has trained on 20 years historical data of web crawling and all those things, and it has got some information about this, the from the historical data. Now when you type in your question, it is going to take out the theme from your text, that is Italian restaurant and Dubai, and it is going to search the all its database and gets the page, gets the information where this has been repeated and it has been ranked the most, where the people are talking about this topic and they are getting a particular answer, and many people are talking about that, which is the best Italian restaurant in Dubai, and these two, when it matches, it is going to give us an output. This is what it is doing. Any machine learning model, I'm giving example of chat gpt because it is very relevant. People are talking a lot how it is doing all this. It is not nothing special. It is just processing millions of rows of data in a very quick time, and it is churning out historical data and it is giving you an output. Be it any field, any retail field, hospitality field, pharma's field, it does the same thing. So you have to learn those skills, how you are going to understand the data that is underlying, and you have whatever you have and build something over it, and then you need to do the other part. But the first part is, for any artificial intelligence project or this field, is to understand the data that is underlying it. So little bit this is the main thing that I want to tell initially, is what is this particular term and how to simplify it. And it is basically comes back to data science itself. Artificial intelligence is just a terminology that is being used. You can say it's a marketing word that is being used, but the underlying factor is the same thing that I told you: studying lot of historical data and doing analysis. So little bit about myself. I'm Mohammad Arshad. I have 17 plus years of experience in the data field. I have worked in companies like MAF, Accenture, and now I have a startup, Decoding Data Science, that is helping companies and individuals get the data skills that is required to prosper and to require to upskill and require to do it in their projects. And and basically I mainly focus in the foundations that is there, because those things are very important, which I will talk more about later on, and then that is what you are going to build upon. So when we all talk about all these high things like artificial intelligence, automated robots and all those things, how it is working, we have to understand the basic principles and build upon that. So quickly I will talk about one framework that I talk a lot about: how to learn and how to get into data science, artificial intelligence, what are the options and what are the steps, what are the path, and the main thing is how to learn and retain these particular advanced topics, right? How to make a plan that is there. So let me just quickly see the chat section if there are any questions. Cool. Thanks, Arka, for this. So, yes. So now what I will do is regarding this FRAC framework, right? So I have made one framework that I tell all my mentees. The main thing that I was telling you earlier as well. First, you need to have a very strong foundations of the basics, and the and after that you will have the confidence to at least talk about those basic foundations. Like I explained you about artificial intelligence in such a way that is really that is the crutch of an artificial intelligence project or a machine learning project that is there. Many people will tell you this is an AI project, this is an AI tool, but they don't know what actually is AI, what is the science behind AI. So you need to have a very strong foundation of these basics, and this is going to give you confidence. Then the R part is also very important. You have to have a very good resume, online presence, and your portfolio of your projects that you have done. Earlier on, I had an audio event where I told the importance of a very good project, how to get data science experience without having a job. People who want to enter the data science field, they tell that they don't have jobs, they don't have experience, and companies want experience. So what happens is you are basically, it's like a chicken and egg situation. What comes first? So you need to build your own projects, whatever you do, not from Kaggle, but something that you have of your passion, like something you get data from any API or any open source data, and build a own project which you can put it as an internship in your resume. Then the A part is applying the right way. You have the knowledge, you have everything, but how to apply for the jobs, right? Because now what is happening is there is a lot of competition. There is lot of for a particular job 500 people apply. What is the correct way, how to get uh, to the job post by proper referral or by proper way? Because this is the big problem that is happening. I know people who are good, but still they are not able to get the right connect for a job because of all these the way they are applying. And after that, how to put all your learnings that you have done, the foundations, have if even have you got an interview call, how to convert, because this is your very important phase that is there. Yeah, right. You get an opportunity, then you need to clear the assessments. Now nowadays, everywhere they are having assessments for the programming languages, and after that interview. Now for interview, when I say some people have good foundation, they have some knowledge, they have been coding for a long time, but they are not able to express their self, and they're not able to convey their message in a simple way. So this I'm going to talk about how to do that, because nowadays it has becomes important, and especially in a multi cultural setup, right? You need to talk to clients from different locations, and you need to convey your message very clearly. And communication and the way you represent your problems and solutions are very important. Now coming to the options that are there, mainly for this data science, artificial intelligence, to enter, there are majorly three major, you can say, categories that are there. That is, this is recently, this is what I have talked to many leaders and many people in the industry. These are the main three, you can say, categories where people enter the data science field. It is, one is the data engineering part, and all these three are very important per se for any artificial intelligence or data science project. But this, when a person enters, he needs to focus on any one of these three fields, and then he as he gains experience, then he can do some things of each category. But for when a person enters, he needs to specialize in at least one of these things. As you all know, what is data engineering? These are the people who are responsible to get data from various sources to the RDBMS, or to a structured data where data analyst or business analyst can use it. That is the second category. I have talked about this in very much details in my webinars about what is descriptive, diagnostic analytics, what is predictive and prospective. But in a short, data analysts are the people who basically do the descriptive. They will answer question, they like, what is happening, what is happening, and if something is happening, how we can isolate that problem and look it in a wide angle lens, like uh, not much of prediction and not much of this thing at this stage, but basic reporting, basic analysis, basic, you can say, deep dive into one particular issue and giving to the business. And then we have the data scientists. These are the ones who are a little bit more experienced and who are more statistically and mathematically sound, who can do predictive and prescriptive analytics, who can do proper forecasting, and basically all the major AI work happens at this category as well. With the help, as I told you, in an AI project, you need all these three very much, right? You need to, for example, for Chat GPT, when if I give you an example, you need a person who is responsible to do all the web crawlings, to get the data, update the data in a proper manner, to make a to use the NLP techniques to make and to tokenize the data and all those things. Uh, these are also a very important part, because if for ChatGPT, if you don't have proper data that you get from different web crawlers and all those things, then your ChatGPT will fail. Because how is ChatGPT giving you output? It is giving you output from the data that they have processed earlier on, and what you are typing in is any question that you type. You know what happens is that there's a lot of processes that happen in Azure that go in and check the data for the question and for the theme that you have asked for. So data is very important part, and data engineering is, to be honest, very much important in any data science or artificial intelligence project to start with. Now, let me just see if there are any questions in the chat. Yeah, you guys, if you want, you can keep putting your questions. As in, I once done, I will keep looking at the questions, and I will try to answer if it is relevant to this topic, and if I can give a quick answer for the same. So you can use the chat, and I will be taking questions at the end of the session. Any specific questions that any one of you have here, you can put it in the chat, and I will try to answer it in my best possible way. But for now, let me continue with, I have few slides left that I wanted to talk about. Now, regarding the path, right, as I told you, data engineers, so this is my path for data engineers, right? People who are good in coding, who are good, they can get into data engineering. There is a lot of web crawling work, web scraping work, API calls work required in this particular phase, and you can grow up to become a lead data engineer and a senior data architect within 4 to 5 years. This is the one that I tell most. I generally suggest most of the people who want to get into this space to get into as a data analyst or business analyst, because here you don't require to be a very good coder. Here you require domain knowledge, which I'm going to talk about. Mainly, suppose you're a data analyst in a retail field, so you need to understand the retail data very well, because this gets very specific to the domain. Like people who are in the pharma domain, who are data analysts in the pharma domain, they have to have good information of the pharma data that is there, because that is very much different from a you can say retail data. And people who are having the pharma background, they do very well as a data or business analyst in a pharma industry, because their data is very much different. Similarly, petroleum engineering, so I was working for a project for one of the petroleum clients. So to be honest, it took me a lot of time to understand the petroleum data, the velocity. There are so many chemical. So the chemical engineers here, they can do very well, because there is so much parameters of a to know the quality of oil that is coming in and which is a good quality. So those things you need to spend time in and understand. So that's why domain experience really helps to do analysis for these types of roles. I'm just giving an example that I just came across, and then you can grow in this field to become a lead business analyst or analytics manager. Or suppose in this, if you enter here and you like coding a lot, you like Python, you like to write advanced Python code, then you can always become shift towards the data engineering side. In a project, as I told you, we have an exposure to all these things. There are people who are doing the data engineering work, there are people who are building the dashboards, there are people who are doing data analyst work, and the people who are doing the machine learning part. So if you have you can say infinity towards data engineering, you can learn and you can do some part of that and you can shift there. If you are now, the last part is the statistician, the machine learning part. Here is the main thing that happens, but it is not the only thing, but this is one of the main things where you are building models, you are trying to study patterns, and you are trying to build end-to-end build products. That example, ChatGPT is one of the AI products that mainly the whole team has built, and these people have basically done the structuring of everything, making sure everything is fine, doing some prompt engineering work as well, and making sure that your product is ready and giving us accurate output. Here you can grow to become a lead data scientist and a data science manager. Now, as like I have been a principal data scientist, so to be honest, for me, I know bits and pieces of data analyst because I have worked as a business analyst and an analytics manager. So this work I know very well. But data engineering, I don't know. I have not done end-to-end projects hands-on, but I know the overall what is happening, what are the problems that are coming in a pipeline, and but I have not, you can say, an expert in that field because I have not worked in a complete end-to-end project. I have done bits and pieces, but nowadays the things have gone very much advanced where there are all API calls and all those things. But you have to know what is happening there. As a data science manager or as a principal data scientist, you need to talk to them and understand how the data is coming, where is the gaps happening, and all those things, and it grows as an experience. And after that is a journey, right? So when I tell people data science, artificial intelligence is a journey, you have to take it step by step, and that is the way you to do. So one of the paths, let me see if there are any questions there.
that people can relate
Yes,
to
I will just take your questions. You can keep putting your
website
questions in.
should be
Now,
on
as I told you, data analyst is the
basic
easiest path
process.
for a person to get in.
So this is the
According to my
things
talking
that
to more
all
than 1,000 people,
from videos.
understanding their
So
situation and
it's
everything.
really
So this
responsible.
path, I have made talking to many people and
Yeah, hi,
helping them and
it's
guiding them,
regarding
that
blog
now I
articles
am really
for
interested
the
to go
website,
into
right? Something
get
related to
into
fashion
artificial
on the status
intelligence. What
page
is the path?
regarding
The first path is
founders.
to get your basics and foundations right, this part that I told you. Because for this you need to know, at least I have made these five things. Now people are going to argue with me, why Power BI? Because I have talked before also many
Okay,
times.
it's
Power
regarding
BI
the
is
blog
becoming more and more popular compared to any other tool, and it is the future for now, because Microsoft has done a lot with to you can say promote Power BI with its Microsoft suite. So I am an advocate of Power BI for now, because see, I can tell you can learn ClickSense, Tableau, Power BI, Data Studio, and all, but my aim is for all the people who are there in this call or whomever I talk to, thousands of people I've talked to simplify your journey. Because this world right now is full of distractions, right? There's so many distractions. Every other YouTube channel will keep teaching you a lot of things. So, but my focus is to try to streamline and try to make things as simple as possible and as uh, less things. So, if focus on less things but master them. When I say you have to be good in Excel, you have to be good in Power BI. Good. When I say good, you need to make good dashboards. You Excel, you need to at least know little bit of macro, little bit of like Excel solver. I'm talking about Excel solver nowadays in my posts, right? Because that is important for a data analyst to know, to solve some optimization problem using Excel. So you need to be little bit good in these things. When you and similarly, SQL is very important nowadays. You have to use it my projects also. I'm using SQL at a regular basis because this is the place where the data is stored, the different tables are stored, and you extract value out of it. Similarly, there is no doubt about Python. So there are many things. So I started my journey with SAS, then I learned R, right? And then Python. Now I am into Python and I'm completely doing Python in all the platforms. I have left using SAS and R because I want to only focus on one programming language. And as you know, Python, you can use it anywhere. If it is in Azure, if it is in AWS, if it is in GCP, everywhere, one language, but you have to know Python well. So Python, what I have done in my courses, I have divided Python into two parts. One is the basic Python that is there, wherein you learn about data structures, functions, loops, and all those things. And after you know that, because that is also very important for you to be comfortable with Python. After you know that, then NumPy, Panda, Matplotlib. These three packages, you will have to know it very well to do a good Python programming for your data science project. And why Python is also important, as you know, the project that you're going to make is going to be majorly in Python. You will be using little bit SQL if possible, little bit of Excel. You will be developing everything in Python and you will be putting it in a Power BI dashboard. So this is very important, and the structure that you write and statistics that I talk, right? Statistics and maths are a very huge portion, but here we are talking about maths and statistics for a data analyst. That is simple stats, like you can say inferential statistics, central tendency, normal distribution, different types of test, hypothesis testing, this thing, not maths and stats for that machine learning algorithm. That becomes very complicated, right? Like the ones that are there for Bayesian equations and all that will come later on. When you are doing machine learning, when you are doing any machine learning, you will have a maths associated to do that. You can do that later, but for this path you just focus on basic statistics that you will apply for your EDAs in your project, because you'll be doing a lot of EDA analysis, you'll be doing a lot of tests, and to make sure that everything is fine. After you do all these things, you will put your knowledge in a very good project. That is a capstone project, which is very important, because this is going to be in your resume. I suggest my mentees to put it as an internship. So people who are associated with me in decoding data science, they put as an internship with decoding data science at a project that they have done. The project should be good. It should be something that is not available easily on Kaggle. It should be something unique to themselves, that they have got the data by using some API strategy or some open data source, or linking two different data sources and creating their data mart to solve a business problem. It can be, there are limitless options that are there, but something that is unique to you, something that you are passionate about. Suppose you are a working professional, 5 years working professional in pharma domain, so you can do some project in pharma, getting some open public data from the WHO or anywhere that is available, and then put it there in your resume, put it there in GitHub. Now one more thing that I will tell you and talk about it. See, these things, to be honest, the problems that are coming in nowadays are, is okay. Rayan is asking, is this video will be saved? I think so. It is going to be saved. This is the first recording I have been doing, so let's see. But I have talked about all this in the webinars. But I'm just giving a quick background now. What is happening nowadays is, you see, we all know, this is like I'm talking like a tape recorder, but this is that we all know whatever I'm telling, this information is available, and many people know about these things, that you need to learn these things, you need to master, you need to make a project. But what is happening, that because of so much distractions nowadays, so many people are teaching so many things and giving so many ideas to you, you are getting distracted, and people are not able to focus. Attention span is reducing for people nowadays. I meet people who they are not having a good attention span, and there are few reasons for this, because of the social media, the distractions and everything that is there, and also the ease of availability of resources. So now I will just give you 2 minutes. If you just, I tell this to all my mentees, and I'm also talking today. Also, I'm going to talk about this in the way I have mentioned here in the ways of learning. Right? How to learn. The main topic of the day is the way. This is a big topic that is there. I'm very close to this topic. Right. This part is very important, that I still talk to my mentees or whoever is in talks to me, and many people of you, they are just here just for information. But some people are really serious, and I try to understand, are you really serious? Why are you doing all this? Is it just for information? Just to have a thing that I know about these things, or is there a big reason? So this reason is very important, to get into data science in 6 months, 3 to 6 months. 3 is very less that I suggest nowadays, but at least 6 months minimum. Get a data science job or get into a data science role in 6 months. So this why is very important. Get, or at least make a project in 3 months. Make a project in 3 months. Okay. This why is very important. You should have in your mind when you start your journey. Because now what is happening, no, there is no accountability. You have resources, you have YouTube recordings, you have so many free resources online. what will you do with it? That's why an accountability is very important, a target is very important, someone who is there to check on you, to make sure that things are going well, are you doing things, are you moving in the straight path? Because people, to be honest, whatever I'm telling, most of the people have at least a primary knowledge. Because of the advent of social media, everyone knows what to do, what, but no one is doing it properly because of all this intrinsic motivation that is there. Second thing is how you are collecting this data. Where is collection of materials? So now what is happening, because of there are excel, there are more than 20-30 people teaching excel, more than for everything that is there. I will tell you, there are 30 to 40 YouTube channels. You will get 30 to 40 channels that are teaching all this for free. Excel, you all know this. No, this is not a hidden fact. If you go, there is a lot of information, but no one knows the authenticity of the information that is there. They have videos, but they are not focused on a particular thing. They are just give a general information. So Excel, to be now coming to Excel, SQL. Okay, we'll take example of SQL just for the sake of it. SQL is a very huge thing. SQL for data science job that is there, that important things that are there for a data science job is very limited. You don't need to know SQL data administration type of work. You don't need to know triggers, procedures, and all those things. But when you see SQL courses, people start talking about normalization, how to create a database, how to modify database. These things you don't need to know. So that, and people, the way they start teaching SQL, if you see, some people will teach you from different platforms, different methodologies, and you will be confused. One video will tell you one thing, the other video will tell you some other thing, and then you get lost. This is happens in all the courses. Everyone who is teaching you, who is telling you online, is they are just giving their perspective, but you are not getting the whole path that is there. You may learn something from here, something from there, that is fine, but you need to master that. So that's why I'm telling here, when in this particular thing, whatever you are learning, it can be from anywhere, but the topics that are really important, after working for 17 years, what I have seen, the topics that are repeatedly used and repeatedly asked, that is only what I have kept. You may know, suppose 100 topics in SQL, but you have to master 20 to 30 topics that is here in this particular course, which is very important, which is you have to have it in you can say it is used in a regular basis. Like, I'll give for example the joints concepts, because what is happening when you're doing joints, and if you do a small mistake when you do joints, you will get an output with redundant data, which is going to affect the output. That's why joints are very much asked questions and a skill that is very important. So some of these things that are very important, you should master it. It is good for you to know from other sources that are there, good for awareness, but you need to make a plan. You need to have a materials that you are using should be authentic, and it should be from one particular source. That is why, to be honest, uh, as I told you, all the materials are present free online. You will get a flavor of everything that is there from 30 to 40 channels that are there. But a collection of resources from an authentic person who has used it and who knows about it is important. It can be anyone, but at least take one, focus on one source for everything that is there, because this is going to make your life easy. A place where everything is there at one location. Before an interview, you have an interview, you have a project, go to that area, get everything one by one at that particular location. Absorbing. Now this part is very important. Absorbing. Now I tell all my mentees one important thing that is there, that it may be controversial for many people, that whenever you're learning to code, whenever you're doing SQL or Python code, don't copy paste the codes, at least for the initial 1 year. So please just listen to this, why this is important. This absorbs this particular methodology, as we so you see that in my time when we were doing our education, we, in schools as well in colleges, we were told not to use the calculator. Why? So now I'd never understood that time. There was calculators available. Why can't we use calculator to do any mathematical thing if it is available? Now I have come to realize that when I am talking to a lot of students and psychologists and neurologists is that help me develop my brains, and it helps us as an individual to do calculations. So I can do calculations up to 3 to 4 digit numbers, multiplications on in my mind. So that really helps me and develops our brain. Similarly, the notes that we take, people say that write your own notes before any exam, write it with your own self, so that when you write the notes with yourself, with your own hands, you the ability for your brain to remember that increases. So those are the learnings that I am trying to bring forward in nowadays generation when everything is available very easily. Try to code, because I am telling you, if you are directly doing people say that they use Google Stack Overflow to do their coding, it is fine. You can do that once you learn the basics, learn it yourself when you start. So what I suggest everyone, don't do copy paste. You can see a page, you can, so if suppose you don't need to do a transformation of a array, you want to reshape an array, you don't know the exact syntax, you may Google it, it is fine. But don't just copy paste that code and put it on the notebook and then run it. Type it, see it and type it. And one more thing is, whatever I tell all my students is, and all my mentees, one thing that I'm very strict about is, please make a handy code of all the important Python codes that you are using, and SQL codes that you are using. Make your own copy of a handy code. Handy code is basically something that has everything, all the major topics that are there, right? All the major Python topics, like for list, structures, functions, conditional statements, NumPy, Panda, whatever topics that are there, try to write the code yourself. The For all the important operations yourself, type it yourself, and it may take time for you to complete that handy code, but believe me, I am using the same handy code that I created 8 years back for Python. I don't first use Google. Some nowadays when I become very lazy, I use Google, but I generally tend to use that particular handy code to know, because that is the code that I typed and I know what it is doing and I am clear about it. Because when you do Google, there will be a lot of solutions that are coming, and some are new and some may work, some may not work. That will waste your time. But once you use that handy code and once you create it, it is a very, you can say this learning will come very handy to you even once you get a job and you are in coding. Because for me it helped. And Python specifically, there are a lot of, when you type do the coding, right, you will understand even an indentation is there in functions that people miss out because they have not typed the code. And if you miss out that indentation, the code will not work. Something will run but you don't know what is the output. So these things are very important, small things, I know. That's why I'm this topic of this day is how to learn. Because see, one thing is there that I talk to many mentees, right, many students, many, once you know the technique to learn. Because see, to be honest, when I come here, this is not the only thing that is important for a artificial intelligence roadmap. There are a lot of other things. But once you know how to learn, once you know the technique to learn a tool and technology, then it is very easy for you to learn any machine learning model. So if I tell you to learn random forest, if you apply these principles, you can learn it properly with all the mathematical statistical concepts, codes and everything in 2 or 3 weeks. But you should know the steps to learn. That is very important. That's why I'm spending some time, because this is where people are not uh, able to put it together. Because what is happening, people forget. Why they forget? Because they have not written themselves, they have not put the effort to type in themselves, to absorb the knowledge that is there and to do all those things. So that is why I, to be honest, it is a one more I'm talking a lot of controversial things, but I am against using chat gpt to learn. ChatGPT is going to kill our brains more and more. So this is a very controversial topic. I will talk more about in details. Now, ChatGPT, if you are learning data science, if you're trying to learn and build a career, for now, for the start, stop using these tools. Stop using all these tools. Try to build your own handy code. You can use the help of Google, but you can say you should have a credible source. Don't just use any source. take the top critical sources that are there that gives you codes, because even in Stack Overflow there are, it's a user generated data, right? People are typing in, so the credibility no one knows. So you need to see 3 4 websites to make sure that whatever they're writing is correct. So those things you have to do at your part. Or, as I tell, have a mentee, have a proper structured person who takes care of all these things and gives all the important information for you. The third part as is retaining and documentation. So the handy code comes in the documentation. Retaining part is also very interesting. These things basically go over all. So as I told you, nowadays attention span is a big problem. So there are few things that I suggest people. It's a Pomodoro principle, that keep work for 25 minutes constantly, and then take a break for 5 minutes and again work. That time you will have some a continuous flow that is there. And don't, when you end the 25 minutes that you are using, don't keep your mobile next to you. The problem is the notifications and all these things keeps our mind distracted, and we can't do multitasking. So when I say 25 minutes, whenever you're studying, whenever you're doing data science work, just leave your mobile a little bit far and focus to completely 25 minutes on this, and try to do one topic at least. So I have module, that's why in my course I have made sure that my modules are, every module that is there is less than 15 to 20 minutes, because of this Pomodoro principle. And I have kept it, maybe you will pause, you will rewind, and you will see a particular part again, but it is less than 25 minutes. And if finish one module at least, write your thoughts about that module, and then you can take a quick break, and then you can start the second one. So that is what I have tried to develop, and you also keep that in mind. And whatever you are learning in a day, so what is your motivation? So you need to make it fun, right? Once you make this exercise fun, then only you will be able to do this process, because it is a intensive task. 3 to 5 months of work you need to do. So you need to make some, you mean, I say to make, to my mentees generally when I talk to them is, try to, whatever you are learning in a day, suppose you are learning Python, you see 3 or 4 videos a day. That is an optimum videos that they can see. They can see more, but they can learn, and they can apply 4 videos, that is around 2 to 3 hours. Try to write about it. So try to write about it. Try to first of all do the coding themselves with a different data source, and try to do that exercise, and also try to write about it. Write about it. That is what I was saying earlier. Communication. How you are communicating your learnings through writing. It can be linked. I advocate LinkedIn a lot, because that is a place that is also going to help you show your profile. Right? Everything is linked. And everything that I'm talking is linked. You learn about a topic, how name it may be, right? To be honest, you think that it is a small thing, like Excel solver. People think it is a very small thing, but many people don't know how to use it. Many people don't know linear programming. Many people don't know optimization, right? This Many people even don't know how to you can say use Excel properly. So that is, many people don't know what is VLOOKUP. So, but that is, so don't think it is a small knowledge. Whatever you are learning, try to write it in a similar way. Try to make a small recording. Try to put a text around it. Try to share it. Once you start sharing, once that will be a motivation for you. So for all my mentees, I tell them, at least whatever you're learning, try to share it. Have a motivation of sharing it. Once you're sharing it, you will make sure that you write properly about it. You make a proper, if you're making a video, make a proper video about it, or make a proper document about it and share. This is going to motivate you to study new topics every day. This is I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to do a small gamification for this, for all my mentees, because LinkedIn, as you know, is very important. And you have to grow on LinkedIn for at least, you have to keep posting to grow on LinkedIn, for employers to also know that you know something about data. It may be, as I told you, it may be very simple things that you're typing in, but believe me, many people don't even know simple things. They only talk about artificial intelligence, but they don't know what is the science behind it. Small things they don't know about it. So these things are very important. So try to show your work in this tip that is there, and try to, whatever you are doing, and have an end goal about a project that you're going to build. Once you know these basic topics, think, whenever you're doing, think like, what can I do to make a very good project, and how can I put that on my resume, and how I can get interview calls, how. And to be honest, everything goes back to LinkedIn. Why I focus so much on LinkedIn is because that is the place where you are going to get a traction from the recruiters and from companies that are hiring, or even from your network who think that, who understand that this person is learning data, he knows about data because he's also talking about data. Those are the things that are there. Before I take questions, I know I have talked a lot. You can type in your questions as well. I don't know how many people are there live, I cannot see, but whoever are there live till now, please type in your questions, and till then I will take a question because no questions are coming in. uh, yes, real experience. Yes, Datta Prasad is asking for what is real experience. You make your own project, but that's why I said making your own project realistic. So that is the first way that you can try to get your own project. Make your own project. First thing that I told you, something that is unique, not a Kaggle data set. That is what it can. It is the closest to real. What is the meaning of real experience? You are getting a data real time. You are getting you are getting an API call. You're making your own data, and you are building a project that is unique and that is not solved earlier on in Kaggle or something. Similar thing may be solved, but not on Kaggle or something like that. And other than this, Datta, what you can do is, after you have a project ready, you can go to there are a lot of AI for good. There are platforms like Omdena where you can show your profile that you have done some projects like this, because there also they have selection criteria where they check whether you have done what you know, what you have done, and this you can do, and you can show as a experience. So these are the ways to build. As I told you earlier, don't make it a chicken and egg situation. How will you get real experience if you don't have any, if companies are not ready to take your experience into consideration? So at least build something of your own, try to get internships. So generally what I do as this situation, I will take people as an intern. So I will take people as an, they can put their project, that whatever they're doing, as an internship, and so that becomes like an internship. So can't post. So any other, let me just check LinkedIn because I'm not getting questions here. Any questions, please type in. Maybe there is some lag that questions are not coming in.